Hey, look at that. This guy's pretty cute.
So this is an item I actually bought months ago, but never actually got around to doing a video, so sorry about that. So I guess that bit of video I showed prior to this is my actual first initial reaction, so that's all you have to watch. You don't have to watch anymore. Just kidding, please watch the rest of the video. Because I intend to take a bit deeper of a dive into this figure and actually open it up and take a look at it. So stick around for that. In case you have been thinking about picking up this figure up yourself, maybe this will encourage you to do so. This comes from the Loyal Subjects Best Action line. Bust Action? Best Axon? Who will win the award for Best Axon? Or is that Crawley guy a shoo-in? Just because by default. But yeah, the Loyal Subjects are responsible for a number of action figure or figure lines, with the Best Action being my personal favorite for obvious reasons. While I do enjoy the Full Metal Alchemist anime and manga, this is really a character I like just basically based on aesthetics alone. That kind of sold me on it off the bat before I even knew anything about the manga or anime. I saw this character design and was like, I'm on board for that. It's got a cool look. It kind of makes me think of, it's a big tank suit of armor. It kind of makes me think of like medieval Evangelion, reminiscent of a EVA unit with a more medieval redesign. This is the only figure from that line that I have purchased so far. I keep thinking about buying some of the others, but the size of the figures, the scaling, is the only reason I don't, and we will get into that when I take a closer look at this.
俺たちの旅の行方を今その手に
待望の RPG ついに登場鋼の錬金術師フルメタルアルケミスト約束の日へ予約を急げ
As you can see, it's got a nice sturdy packaging. Probably one of the nicest looking presentations I've seen, in my opinion. 22 points of articulation, incredible sculpt details. We're going to put that to the test. Well, okay, not a super rigorous test, but we're definitely going to check it out. As you can see, it comes with 2 extra hands. That looks to be pretty much all you get in the way of accessories, but I'm okay with that. For a basically about $16 price point, that's fine with me. I know there are more high-end, fancier Alphonse figures out there, but for this price and this scale, looks good to me. But let's take a closer look. Helps if I can actually see where the tape is. Pretty cool. That's a nice little touch. I like that. Got a little plate on the front. Okay. We're in business. There he is, looking pretty darn good. Let's see what we've got. Single joint, but with quite a good range of motion on that elbow. Some wrist swivel. Got any shoulder swivel. We've got up and down, but I don't know if there's any. Looks like there might be a minimum. Yeah, not a whole lot of up and down, sort of sideways shoulder up and down. Sideways shoulder up and down movement. Not a whole lot of that, and even if it did have more, I'm guessing the spiked shoulder pads. Shoulder pads would get in the way a little bit of that. Got a little bit of, not so much crunch, a little bit of crunch. A little bit of side to side on that waist and torso area. I'm afraid to lift this up. Got his loincloth going on, and his little pouch on the leg. The joints are a little stiff first out of the gate. Got a little side to side on the legs. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Yeah, it looks like a single joint knee, maybe not. Yeah, single joint knee. Some ankle movement that's kind of hindered by the shin armor, but still a decent little range of movement. A little stiff. It might have 22 points of articulation, but it certainly doesn't seem like it. The mobility is reduced mainly by the stiffness of the joints. Not a lot of fancy poses you're going to get out of this one. But aesthetically, just looking at it, it's very pleasing. Very character accurate, very manga and anime accurate. Got the little pegs in the hand to slide out and replace them. Hopefully I don't break anything. Karate chopping or alchemy casting hand right there. That's pretty cool. Looking good. I am enjoying that quite a bit. I'm liking that a lot. Looking good. So yeah, the articulation is a little bit limited on this figure, but the look is dead on. He looks really good on your shelf. But now to talk about the main problem I have with this figure, which is the scaling, because most of the other figures in the line are like about 5-inch figures or so, somewhere around that. And he is actually, even though in the source material, he's like a hulking tank in this armor, but he's actually the smallest figure from that initial release. He was the smallest figure, even though he's supposed to be like the largest figure. They kind of did the weird scaling thing like they did with the Dragon Ball Evolve figures, where they made a Broly, but Broly's like the same size, if not smaller, than most of the other characters in the line. So it's kind of, you know, it's a good looking figure again, but it's just too small. Equally amusing when Edward is supposed to be like super short, and is like, that's one of the running jokes in the series is how short Edward is. I think he's actually the tallest figure from this batch. And his brother, who's supposed to be the towering tank, is actually shorter than he is. I wish I had bought more of those figures just as a comparison. But you know, so yeah, regretting that, but I just didn't pick them up because they didn't really fit in too much with any of the other figures that I had purchased. So a little on the short side, but he's a good looking figure. You know, I would have been willing to pay $5 more for a deluxe Alphonse that was a little bit more to scale. You know, if they wanted to have a deluxe figure that was a little more expensive, I would have been willing to shell out the cash for that. The good thing about his size and scale is he actually fits in pretty well, probably even better with 1/18 scale action figures. You know, that works for me. I'm fine with that. And as you can kind of see in the background here, we've brought some old friends along. Some old friends along for comparison to kind of show you what I mean. So here we have Alphonse next to a Shoto Kamen Rider, and next to a Microman Cashern. And here he is with the Panoramation Saint Seiya Pegasus. Pegasus Seiya. And here he is with our old pal, the Mega Merge All Might. And just for a little bit of fun, here's that Broly I was talking about. He scales better with 1/18 or 3 3/4 inch, 4-inch figures better than the figures in his own line also. So that could be quite a face-off right there, but that's a pretty stacked group. I think they'll fare okay. But just in case they don't, I called in some backup. That's the 2008 Bandai Dragon Ball Z Goku. I think that was the year that was that the year that terrible live-action Dragon Ball Z movie came out that everybody hated. Sorry to bring that up if that was traumatic for everyone. Didn't mean to bring up unpleasant memories. Anyway, I think they'll be all right. So yeah, he is a very good looking figure, and he scales nicely with some of the smaller figures, Microman, Shoto, items like that. He scales pretty well with them, not so much the figures in his own line. Looks great, joints are a little stiff, articulation's a little stiff. I still think for the price point, for the price range, it's a pretty good figure, and would probably deserves a spot on your shelf, on your work desk, wherever you prefer. So yeah, I think he's worth the money, especially if you are a fan of
Full Metal Alchemist.
I think he would be a nice addition to your collection. All right, anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. And until next time, I will see ya.